The following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
St. Augustine man erased 3 months after wife and stepson's homicide. Just over 3 months after his wife and stepson were erased in Arima, Mario Gomez met his demise early this morning at St. John's Road in Augustine. Residents reported hearing a series of gunshots at around 7:30 a.m., and Gomez was found dead shortly after. He was on his way to a shop not far from his home when he was ambushed by assailants. On July 14, at about 8:40 a.m., Gomez's common-law wife, Dawn McKenna, 40, was driving her Tucson motorcar, PCZ 1461, east along the Arima Old Road. Her son, Jordan McKenna, 19, and another man identified as Jeremy DeFreitas, 18, were with her when their vehicle was blocked by a silver Tida. 2 men alighted from the vehicle and fired at them. All 3 victims got out of the SUV and attempted to run away, but were shot and met their demise. A few minutes later, 5 residents of St. John Road were erased and 1 was wounded.
First was my son, to be better, you understand? Because still the line with the boys and them, the thing, and I wouldn't line with all you. But then past 18, I wouldn't line with all. I know the life, I would tell a guy and tell everybody, thing. But life is, you have to force it on them. You have to force it on them to be where they want out here because they're forcing themselves to dead. They're forcing themselves on the wrong part and thing. You understand? Yeah, be more strict with the children. They have to be more strict with the children. Yeah, they have to be strict with the children. That's what I say. Be strict with the children and that force them to do what you want them to do. Don't leave them to stray and thing because that would just cause the problem. You understand? My son, I know that. I know highly my son thing. Growing up with our father, assistant thing, like when we talking, but that is wrong. I mean, that's wrong to talk to them now, but you have to force them to do what you want.
Investigators are looking into possible links between Gomez's homicide and the homicide of McKenna and her son. Police investigate double homicide at auto repair shop in Karapo. 2 men met their demise in a shooting in Karapo on Monday night. The victims were identified as Naran Philip, 42, of Karapo Main Road, and Richie Ragu, 33, of Jocan Trace, Karapo. Philip, a lorry driver and father of 4, along with Ragu, died instantly after a masked assailant entered Ragu's mechanic shop and opened fire on them. A third man, aged 21, also of Jocan Trace, was injured during the incident. The double homicide occurred around 9:25 p.m. while the men were liming and drinking at Ragu's garage where they had just finished installing a gearbox in Philip's truck. Ragu was shot 9 times while Philip was shot twice. The third man was taken to hospital where he remained warded in a critical condition up to last evening. The wives of both men visited the Forensic Science Center in St. James yesterday, but declined to speak as they became emotional after viewing their bodies for identification. Other relatives of Philip described him as a devoted family man who was always on the go. Concerned about the continued well-being of his 4 children, ages ranging from 17 years to 11 months, as he was the sole breadwinner for his family, they vowed to step up and do what is needed. Philip's youngest son was due to be christened next month. Relatives said they await the arrival of his 2 eldest daughters from the United States before funeral arrangements are finalized. Police have ruled out robbery as the motive, as nothing was taken from the dead men following the shooting. Philip's relatives claimed he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Gun violence has continued to escalate in Karapo, as yesterday's homicide follows the homicide of 5 men from the area just 2 months ago in August. The 5 victims include Avinash Sukraj, 32, Russell Poon, 53, Radish Puran, 54, Ryan Sukraj, 27, and Jimmy Poon, 26. They were all found dead near a river not far from their homes located off Racecourse Road, Karapo. Princess Town family suffers tragic loss as second home is destroyed in Landslip. The Bridgemohan family of Sahadath Road, Princess Town, is stuck in a nightmare that seems to have no end. Within the space of 14 months, they have lost 2 homes owing to a landslip, and while they are not homeless, they are desperately in need of a place to call home. Having lost it twice in a year, it is very hard. It is very difficult because my kids, one writing CXC and the other writing SEA, and my daughter has end of term test for December, and it is very difficult. We have to use the internet because it's online class. It is very, very difficult knowing that we had something and knowing that it just simply disappeared, just gone within seconds. I can't explain how I'm feeling right now. It's just tragic, lamented Mira Bridgemohan. Bridgemohan, a housewife, and her husband Taradath, a corporal in the TNT regiment, used their life savings to build a comfortable home for their 3 children, ages 17, 13, and 6. But their happiness began chipping away when the road in front of their home began to cave, and despite their complaints to the authorities to date, it has not been repaired. One day last August, their worst fears came true when their 2-story, 4-bedroom home began crumbling. About a week later, her brother-in-law allowed them to move into his home next door, but tragedy struck again. Bridgemohan said, "Since last year, I've been experiencing a lot of trouble. I lost my house, where we saved nearly my entire life building. It crumbled. Last year, the August 21, it went down. We got a temporary place to stay next door, and Saturday from 5 o'clock until about 11, it just fell down on us." She explained that the tank stand collapsed a couple of weeks ago. Then, following heavy rains on Saturday, they heard noises in the house but did not pay attention to them. When her husband got up for work later that morning, he saw a large crack in the house and warned them that the house was going to fall. "We're lucky nobody wasn't injured because we was home trying to get everything out, and from the time we're trying to move things out, the concrete thing started to fall. We're lucky we didn't get injured," she said. While they have sought temporary lodging at her mother-in-law's home, Bridgemohan said the conditions are cramped. She says they applied to the National Commission for Self-Help for a grant, and they are still waiting for a response, and they have not heard from any other state agencies or ministries. Bridgemohan lamented, "Right now I really need a house badly. We need a house to stay in right now, because the house I'm staying in with my in-laws, they don't have space for us because it's a big family. They have their own parents there right now, so we really need somewhere to go. We don't have a place to go. We need the space. We need the children to be right through in class without interruptions right now. We really need a house to go to." She said her brother-in-law is also staying with her mother. Meanwhile, Moruga Tableland MP Michelle Benjamin says she wrote to the Ministers of Housing, Works and Transport and Rural Development and Local Government last October, but she has yet to receive a response. "So I am pleading on behalf of Mr. Bridgemohan and his wife, his family and his kids that the relevant authorities hear their cries and address the situation. They need a home," said Benjamin. She said there has been no assessment to determine the cause of the land slippage, but Sahadat Road is a local road and the minister has been informed. But to date, there has been no site visit. Anyone willing to assist the family could contact 328-4490.
I mean, one mishap or two mishap.
Sinanan refutes claim that there is geographic discrimination in repair of landslips. There is no geographic discrimination in repairing landslips. This was a word from Minister of Works and Transport Rohan Sinanan as he spoke at a media conference where several technical experts from the Highways Division Program for Upgrading Road Efficiency Unit PURE and the Bridges Landslips and Traffic Management Unit BLT sought to buttress his claim by providing an update on repairs across the country. There are 406 landslips across TNT, 76% of which are in central and south Trinidad. However, according to the ministry's Deputy Permanent Secretary, Navin Ramsing, that number continues to increase with new landslips developing each year. Ramsing said there are 8 factors that have been identified as the causes for landslips in the country. He said these include construction history of roads, deforestation, climate change and water, whereby rainfall and leaks from water lines reduce the friction resisting gravity of the soil. Quite often, our roads are plagued with numerous water leaks and associated deteriorating road conditions caused primarily by WASA's failure to carry out timely and effective road rehabilitation. WASA has indicated that water lines that serve residents who have constructed their homes on hills experience a pressure higher than normal, and this, together with the age of the pipe and other factors, contribute to frequent leakages, Ramsing explained. He also said improper drainage from privately owned properties have also been contributing significantly to landslips and advised people to seek advice from qualified geotechnical engineers before the construction of their properties. Head of the BLT unit, Mahadeo Jagdeo, said repairs continue on a phased basis based on the availability of funds, emphasizing that it is very expensive to carry out such works. Given the magnitude of the backlog and the emerging priorities that emerge each day, only the most critical landslips can be given priority. Under Phase 1, we would have dealt with about 28 landslips, and under Phase 2, which is currently being designed, we have 68 landslips under that phase. Responding to protests last week by Pinal residents over landslips at La Fortune Pluck Road and San Francisco Main Road, Jagdeo said they are also under the unit's radar. He said the first landslip at San Francisco Road, a contract was awarded for that in 2014. However, due to continued non-performance by the contractor, we had no choice but to terminate that contract, and subsequent to that, through NIDCO, would have repackaged the remaining works, re-tendered it, and gotten a preferred contractor for the works. We would have also gotten the requisite approvals and funding in place to complete those works. We are advised by NIDCO that hopefully by the end of November, the contract will be awarded. As for the other landslip, he said, in October 2020, we awarded a contract to commence the design for that landslip. At this point in time, we have received the tender documents, and we are currently reviewing those tender documents. Once we have concurrence on the tender documents, we would issue that contract, hopefully no later than the end of November. Sinanan noted that most of the repairs on landslips are being carried out in South and Central, therefore rubbishing claims by UNC MPs. He said, 76% is from the Central and Southern range, so if there is discrimination, then you would have found that 76% of the landslips might have been in the North. Ramsing noted that the Town and Country Planning Division will implement a policy for development in the southern region of Trinidad similar to that of the existing Hillside Northern Region policy. He also suggested that the authors of the Trinidad and Tobago Small Building Code should make amendments to it to specify the standards for construction on expansive clays. Parents escort vaccinated children to school.
Mom, how is it about first?
I'm not very happy about it. They have vaccinated and unvaccinated children going to school together, which is ridiculous. I know of 3 people already have been double vaccinated and they have gotten the COVID. So I am worried for my child. I am desperately worried for my child. And if anything happens to her, I am going to sue the ministry because this is ridiculous and it is careless.
Yes, sir. What school is this?
I can't do that.
Yeah. First day at the school today.
Very good, very good.
After all that time away from school, how you feel the child? How was
Well,
it?
my daughter, she remained excellent to a point, and it's good. Happy to come back out to school.
You are worried about the vaccinated and unvaccinated ones?
Well, yes, to a point, but eventually we have to move on. Vaccinated or not vaccinated, we have to move on.
You're not scared at all?
No, look, I am San Fernando East Secondary, and I'm going to face that problem this morning too.
Okay.